For 13 years, El Chapo was an uncatchable shadow. Mexico endured the shame. The US saw him as an existential threat. This manhunt was a war against a myth. The DEA and the Mexican Marines, the last uncorrupted units, moved in secret. They used dark technology, wiretaps, drones, cell phone tracking. Slowly, the net began to tighten. In early 2014, a breakthrough. Communications led to Culiacan. The Marines launched dawn raids. In every house, they found his signature, secret doors under bathtubs, leading to a maze in the city's sewers. El Chapo had turned his own city into an underground fortress, but his narrow escapes showed he was cornered. He escaped time and again, crawling through the sewers, wet and naked, covered in filth. But he was pushed, forced to make mistakes. Finally, he fled to Mazatlan. In the early hours of February 22nd, 2014, the drama ended in silence. Without a single shot fired, Marines broke down a condominium door. They found him with his wife and daughters, the world's most wanted drug lord, arrested, looking weak and ordinary. The Mexican government would not be humiliated again. El Chapo was sent to Altiplano, a prison they claimed was impenetrable. They refused extradition, insisting they could hold this monster. But they forgot his money, his engineering genius, and the loyalty of his men. Less than 17 months later, on July 11th, 2015, the world was stunned. El Chapo was gone. In his cell, under the shower, there was a hole, a gateway to an impossible 1.5-kilometer tunnel, complete with a modified motorcycle on rails. This was an act of total humiliation, proving that his power went beyond iron and concrete. The king was free, but this time he was blinded by arrogance, his obsession to immortalize himself in a movie. That obsession was the final poison. He contacted producers and a Hollywood actor, Sean Penn. A secret meeting took place. Unknowingly, their every communication was being monitored. The interview became a treasure map leading authorities right to him. El Chapo, seeking immortality, had just signed the death warrant for his own freedom. With that vital information, the Marines launched Operation Black Swan on January 8, 2016 in Los Mochis. A fierce gunfight erupted. Chapo escaped again through a sewer tunnel. He surfaced, stole a car. But this time, there was nowhere left to run. Authorities anticipated his every move. His stolen car was intercepted by federal police. Without protection, Guzman's long journey ended on a dusty roadside, captured for the third and final time. Mexico did not delay. In January 2017, El Chapo was extradited to the United States. In a federal courtroom in Brooklyn, under military-grade security, his reign of terror was laid bare. He was sentenced to life in ADX Florence, Colorado, a supermax prison, a fortress where money and tunnels could never buy him freedom. El Chapo's story is a dark study how poverty and ambition can give birth to a devil, how corruption can devour a nation, and how power built on blood always collapses under the weight of arrogance. The myth is imprisoned, but the shadow of the Sinaloa cartel still hangs heavy. We have traced the rise and fall of one man, but is the world truly free from the fire he started? How deep have his roots spread just beneath the skin of our quiet society? That is the final forensic mystery, knowing how the crime happened, but never understanding the depth of the cruelty that ruins the soul. And the most chilling question, how many other El Chapos are waiting in the shadows, ready to take the empty throne? That is the unending burden of this chronicle. El Chapo was a product of poverty, corruption, and his own limitless ambition. In your opinion, which factor played the biggest role in creating a monster like him? The systemic corruption or his own personal cruelty? Write your analysis in the comments. Our archives still hold many other stories of darkness. To open them with us, subscribe to Underworld Archive 9 and be sure your notification bell is on. Thank you for watching.